Hello and welcome back to Tony Northeastern. And before we get stuck into the second part of building a garage, just like to say I've had an amazing response on you guys wanting the Hornby shelter that I'm giving away. Obviously the winner will be announced on the 14th of December, and it's all entirely free. It's free postage, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. It'll be coming to you hopefully before Christmas. So let's get on with the video. Right, part 2, here we are. At the moment I am cutting some very fine pieces of card and making them look like lintels, so I'm doing some of the exterior now. I've added them here, there and there. I'll also be adding them to the windows as well, just so it all looks like a continuous building, even though this was probably added at one time. It might even have been a barn before they turned it into a garage. That card's there just to give me an idea of how deep I had to make the extension originally. Right, so that's what I'm up to at the moment. So I shall finish off putting all these little bits of card on to make the window sills and lintels, and then we'll start looking at putting the LEDs inside. I've changed the appearance slightly. I have put an apex in rather than leaving it flat, because the idea was I was going to have the roof this way and then sloping back that way, but I think it would have looked a little bit odd, so I've kept the apex on the end. So that's the only change to the building. Okay, the window sills have been put in, just to add a little bit of extra detail. I've also added an extra apex here, because originally the apex was going to go there, and then that wasn't going to be there at all. That was just going to come down across. But I changed my mind and I've put the apex in the middle, so it'll be a continuous roof across. Drilled the holes in there and there for the LEDs. A little tip for you: if you want to get the perfect hole into a card, sandwich the card that you drill in between two pieces of wood, and you won't end up like a hole like that, where it just tears the card. Just a little tip for you. So these have just been glued in, so I'm going to let them dry. Might take a while, but in the meantime I will add a stovepipe there, because there's no chimney on this side of the building, so I'm just going to put a little stovepipe in there to make out there's a little log burner in the lean-to. Okay, we're just about to do the LEDs now. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of super glue around the hole. Not too much. Got a little bit too much there. Just take a little bit of that out. There's too much in there. Right. And then put the LED in. Like so. That's that one in, and the other one. I just had to fold it over just to be sure. Right, a little bit more super glue around there. You don't need too much, just enough to hold the LED in place. And the next bit is to snip back the long legs of the LED, because that's the positive and that's ready for the resistor to be welded on or soldered on, like so. Right, as you can see, I've soldered the resistor onto the long leg, or what was the long leg of the LED. Just remember to put a little bit of flux onto the resistor to help with the adhesion. So you just put that in the flux. And then voila, that's that one done as well. Okay, I have cut the tails down on the resistors, ready to take the power to the resistors. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to solder two separate cables and then join them together here before they come out through the bottom of the building there, through that card tab which I've left circular, so the cables come down through there. So when you look through that window you won't see any of the cables, in theory. Okay, what I've done here, I have cut back the insulation and tinned it ready to take the other cables, so that the power cables split and go to both LEDs. So what I've done is, I am now going to tin the other cable there, and then I'm going to add it to this cable here. And then I'll put a bit of heat shrink over the top of them to insulate them from the other cables. Okay, that's the lies. Take the cable out of my mouth. Okay, that's the live feeds done to the resistors, and the heat shrink is in place as well. So now it's time to do the negatives. I'll do the negatives in exactly the same way. Okay, that's the LEDs fitted and illuminated. So I've never done it this way before, wiring up the LEDs individually inside the building, because normally I take the power through one LED onto the next one. So by doing this, if one of these LEDs go, we've still got the other one to light up the building. As you can see, I have added the chimney stovepipe and chimney breast here. So the next thing to do is to put the roofs on. I've added some fascias for the roof to actually sit on as well, so that gives it a little bit more thickness there, and it also adds to what I've done here. I'm going to be able to use the original roof that came with the kit, which is good news. So, but I'll have to make a brand new roof for the extension. Now, if you're doing one of these, I'm sure you have plenty of roofing left over from other kits, so you'll be able to do that. So I've just got to measure what I've got from the brick wall to the end, and then just add a millimetre overlap. So that works out at roughly about 86 mil. So I shall mark that and cut it out. Okay, I have cut the roof and scored it, and I've scored the original roofing as well, so when it's painted the tiles will come through. I've also added some guttering. What I did for the guttering is, when you get old fencing kits like this one, you end up flashing on the edges here, across the edge, so I trimmed that off, and because it's round in shape, I just glued it onto there, and it just looks, because it's round, it looks like guttering. I've done that all the way around, even on this one here, and all the way around there and there. So that's now waiting for some drain pipes and the chimney pot to go on. I'm going to leave that right to the last minute just in case it gets accidentally knocked off. And then I've got to paint and decorate the building and weather it. So the next phase is to add the drain pipes. Now I'm going to be using very, very fine soldering wire, and this is the stuff here. If you can actually see it, it's quite fine. Not sure what it is. It's probably millimetre in diameter, and you can straighten it and bend it to suit whatever you want. So I shall make a couple of them and stick them on. So the first thing you do with your solder wire is to get it nice and straight. Just pull it nice and straight, as straight as you can get it, and then just work out how you're going to feed it from your guttering to the floor of the building. You can either do a straight line, or you can bend it and twist it to make it look like it's coming away from the drain pipe. So what I would do is I'll put in a natural kink, just a very, very slight offset, like so, and then straighten the rest of the tube out, soldering wire out. Keep saying tube, it's not tube, but I'm trying to make it look like tubing. Right, well, I think that's going to work there, so I'll just trim that to length now. Yep, and I think that will do the job nicely. And there you have the first drain pipe on. As you can see, if you turn it around, you can see I've bent it round to come onto the wall, and there's a bit of Yoo-hoo glue there, Yoo-hoo glue there, and another piece of Yoo-hoo glue there. And all I've done is, when the glue starts going on, I just twist it round, keep twisting it round until you end up with an even blob all the way around the solder, and that will then look like your brackets when it's painted. Right, that's all the drain pipes added. There, and round the back, and a little domestic waste there. So next thing is to paint it all. So I've got the blue end fascias to do there and there. I'm going to do all the drain pipes in black. So I shall do that first and then paint the roof. Right, as you can see, the drain pipes are painted, the guttering's painted, and I've also at the same time painted the window sills and the lintels for the doors all the way around, and the back as well, as you can see. So what we'll do, we'll have one last look at it on the layout. Okay, we'll have one last look at it before we call it a day. I've done quite a bit this weekend. We've managed to fit the LEDs, glue the roof on, added the drain pipes and guttering, painted the fascias and the lintels, added the chimney pot right at the last minute there, so that's glued on. And it's getting there. I think we still have a lot more to do at the roof. That needs painting. I'm not sure whether to go with the grey tiles or the red tiles. The roof next door, he's got red tiles, so it might be a possibility. AD Pullen made a suggestion that you could actually use this kit as a small town fire station if you wanted to, which could be a good idea. Right, I think that's all this week, and don't forget this is the last weekend you can put in for the line side platform shelter competition, so get them in, because next Saturday I'll be posting the winner of the draw up for it, so keep tuned for that. So see you again next week, when hopefully we'll get this finished and maybe add a few more details in and around the garage, maybe some petrol pumps and something. I might even have a little outbuild in there, maybe stick a car or something in it there, in this little area here. Maybe a little lean-to or something, maybe have a car in there with some tarpaulin, something like that. Possibilities are endless with a model railway, as you all know. Right, all the best, see you next time, bye for now, bye.